Hey friends, it's Emma Figling with TYT Politics. I hope that you had a lovely weekend, and now back to more Trump stuff, which is great for all of us. Our country's up in flames, haha! Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about the kind of glaring hypocrisy of the religious Christian right in this country when it comes to Donald Trump, and some of the ways that Donald Trump is going to be helping them. So I guess it's not hypocritical in a way. They are behind a candidate who is morally reprehensible in any objective sense, yet he's going to give them some goodies. So yeah, that's the Christian thing to do. Sell out your values for a payoff. Okay, so Trump is throwing the religious right some goodie bags, some little treats, so they can be happy about. And here are some of the ways that some of his cabinet people in his cabinet, and some of the people in his administration have said that they're going to help out Christians in this country, because Christians are so persecuted, you know, being the overwhelming majority of the country, and I shed a tear for them every day and every night. Jeff Sessions, the incoming Attorney General, obviously, has said this about the separation of church and state. The Constitution says we shall not establish a religion. Congress shall not establish a religion. It doesn't say states couldn't establish a religion. Oh, I wonder what religion you're talking about, Jeff Sessions. Say, Utah, well, there, that's a bad example. Say, Illinois wanted to make themselves a pastafarian state, where they just worshipped pasta. Would you be okay with that? Oh, right, you wouldn't. It's because you're favoring one religion over another, which is something that every single founding father, no matter their position on the political spectrum, denounced entirely. You are as un-American as it gets, if that's actually what you believe. And it seems to be what he's going to believe, and he's going to be dictating the law for the country, and obviously that's disastrous, but he was voted to be confirmed, so he will be the next Attorney General. Lovely. The New York Times also summarized some of the other religious positions of his incoming team. Tom Price, the new Health and Human Services Secretary, helped lead an effort in Congress to repeal the federal mandate that issuers cover birth control on the grounds that it violates religious freedom. Yeah, I feel so bad for the corporation's religious freedom. Mr. Carson, the nominee for Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, once said that he doubted the validity of the Big Bang Theory. See, it just goes to show that you can be really smart in one area, aka brain surgery, and basically a moron, I was about to say something rude, but I didn't want to, in any other capacity. Andrew Puzder, the Labor Secretary nominee, was an early architect of the legal effort to pass laws stating that life begins at conception, because, just instituting your religious opinion in the name of science and under the guise of science is what America is all about. So, yet, despite the fact that all of these people say they're sticking up for Christianity and religion, Pope Francis, the actual leader of a massive religion throughout the world, and someone who's supposed to be infallible, but the Catholics in this country seem to forget about that, said this about Donald Trump. A person who thinks about building walls wherever they may be and not building bridges is not Christian. That wasn't calling Trump by name, because obviously the guy's too diplomatic for that kind of thing, but that's basically saying Donald Trump is not a Christian, and what he is perpetuating is not Christian at all. Yet, 52% of Catholics voted for Trump, 45% for Hillary Clinton. Neither of them, I would say, are particularly embracing the values of Jesus, but one is certainly worse than the other. Donald Trump is the epitome of greed, gluttony, immorality, and everything that Christians are supposed to be against. But that's not the issue in my opinion, with many of the religious leaders in this country. As always, it's about power, and it's about money. Here, listen to what Trump said that he is going to do to increase the political power of the church. President Donald Trump appears steadfastly committed to his campaign promise to repeal one of the clearest legislative examples of the separation of church and state in this country, recently repeating his vow to allow churches to engage in political activity while retaining their current tax-exempt status, opening the door for religious groups to become big-time partisan players in U.S. elections. Excellent. According to the IRS's website, churches and other nonprofit organizations that are exempt from taxation are absolutely prohibited from directly or indirectly participating in or intervening in any political campaign on behalf or in opposition to any candidate for elective public office. That was enshrined in law in 1954 by then Senator Lyndon Johnson, future President of the United States. It seems like these religious leaders are often participating, at least indirectly, in political activity, but it seems like the liberals in the Obama administration, or the liberals, don't want to piss off the religious right, so they just didn't prosecute it. Or go after it whatsoever. Trump is saying, no, they should be able to participate more. Right. Christians should have more influence on our politics. I'm so pumped about it. Churches, charities, and educational institutions are tax exempt under Section 501c3 of the IRS Code, which not only exempts a group's income from taxation, but also allows it to receive tax-deductible donations. Under the so-called Johnson Amendment, religious leaders remain free to engage in political and social speech outside of the church. Which, like, that line is so ridiculous. But what is so fascinating to me is that they are exempt from taxation, yet they want to vote for someone who is going to give them tax freedom, aka Donald Trump. And by the way, the Church of Scientology still is not being able to be taxed under that ridiculous law. Scientology, which is a cult. The Salon article continues. Allowing churches to express political opinions isn't the main concern of critics of Trump's proposal to do away with the long-standing law, however. At issue is whether a tax-exempt institution can engage in electioneering and retain its tax-exempt status, according to Robert P. Jones, CEO of the Public Religious Research Institute. Church members could give tax-deductible donations to a church, which would then be used by the church to campaign for a specific candidate. It could effectively turn churches into campaign offices and pastors into party operatives. A religious group could begin to release campaign ads, and church members could contribute to political candidates and write it off in their taxes, for example. So nice. Let's increase the political corruption and bring the powerful institution of churches into the fold. Let's expand the umbrella of political corruption to institutions that are supposed to be morally upstanding in the community. So that's what it boils down to. Are many on the religious right fueled by ideology and beliefs? Yeah. But are the people in power fueled by wanting to maybe buy some of those politicians? Absolutely. It's so Christian of them to want to buy the presidency. And it's so Christian of them to support someone who wants to ban Muslims and refugees who are being slaughtered across the sea from entering this country. That's the Christian thing to do. These guys are corrupt to their core. The hypocrisy is stunning, and lastly, let's just compare. Just compare how the religious right treated President Obama, who was a family man, no scandals personally, seemed to love his kids and his wife, went to church, they made a big stink about Reverend Wright, yet they said he wasn't a Christian, he wasn't an American, he didn't have the same values as them, as opposed to Donald Trump, who's been married thrice, 3 times, and said he wanted to grab a woman by the pussy on tape, and has had a variety of scandals that have been, unconfirmed. But let's not pretend that Donald Trump aligns with traditional Christian values. You just want to have more power. That's all you care about. So you pretend like you are the victim throughout this country, and then you support a guy with no moral compass whatsoever. Give me a break, as Jimmy Dore would say. Have a great day, guys.